Hello, my name is Paulina, and I am the curator of the exhibition Szancer Imagine That, which will be open at the Galicia Jewish Museum on the 1st of July this year. This exhibition is addressed mainly to children, and it's based on a biography of one of the greatest Polish illustrator, Jan Marcin Szancer, who was born in Krakow in Polish Jewish family. And now I'd like to invite you to listen to the short interview with Andrzej, Rojek. So the exhibition Szancer Imagine That, in my opinion, shows Jan Marcin Szancer profile, which was instrumental for growing up for many Polish generations. But the problem in Poland is that almost everybody recognizes illustrations from Akademia Pana Kleksa, Mr. Inkblot Academy, or Brzechwa Dzieciom, but only a few people know who is an author of these drawings. So while preparing this exhibition, one of our goals was to make not only his illustrations, but his own name more popular. And it is worth mentioning that it was your idea to create an exhibition devoted to Jan Marcin Szancer. So I'd like to ask you, how did you become interested in Szancer's work? And from where did this concept of an exhibition about his life and art derive?
So indeed, Szancer was, for my generation, and mind you, I left Poland 40 years ago almost, was a mainstay, was a person who was producing pictures or illustrations or decorations for the theaters, which we've seen every day or every week. So we all forgot. I certainly forgot when I was living in America. So what happened was I visited, this is good 2 years ago, I visited JCC in Krakow, and we were walking around the kindergarten they have there. And I've noticed in a corner a bunch of Szancer books. And things open up, and I said, God, we all forgot. We all forgot about him. We forgot that he exists. We forgot that he existed. We forgot all his books and so on and so forth. So next time I saw Kuba Nowakowski in New York, I said, let's do something. Let's have an exhibit. And because I am active in Polin Museum in Warsaw, I thought maybe the Polin Museum is the right location, but Kuba said, no, we'll do it. We're next to JCC. We work with them, so no better place. And that's how it started. And then I talked to Barbara Kirschenblatt, who connected us with Elizabeth Szancer, who I didn't know she exists before. And we had a family connection. Then I heard about the story of collection of his works, which unfortunately were diluted at a auction a couple of years ago. So that's obviously a sad story. But the very fact that we are able to bring him back for use of the kids now, it's phenomenal. And I have to tell you, I remember to this day when I went with my parents to the National Theatre, Teatr Narodowy, for a production of Akademia Pana Kleksa. And I remember this. And he was the graphic artist behind this production. And this was, the Teatr Narodowy used to have these shows, I think there were 2 in the afternoon, specifically for the children. I might have been 8 or 10 or something like this. But I remember the colors, I remember the production, I remember the thing. This was a gray life, mind you. Poland in the early 60s was a pretty gray place, right? Lots of red because of the communists, but other than that, not much of a color. And he brought color, he brought dynamic movement, he brought fantasy, which we didn't see. And whether this was Pan Kleks or whether this was Brzechwa or whether it was any illustrations, that was him.
Yeah, I agree with you that Szancer creates his own atypical reality. Yeah.
And this reality was so different from, like I say, gray walls in which we lived at the time, and gray reality, that was, I think, very, very well recognized. And like I said, unfortunately, he was forgotten. Then I left the country, so I forgot. So this was just a tremendous opportunity and I talked to Jonathan Ornstein, Freida, was he calls his pre-K, and I said, how great that you're able to do it.
Yeah. So you've said already that Szancer's illustration, you remember Szancer's illustrations from your childhood, but I'd like to ask you, is there any picture that has particular meaning for you? Is the Akademia Pana Kleksa or something else?
So I had the book, obviously, Akademia Pana Kleksa, which probably my parents bought it for me. I don't think we read it in school. I think this was just my book at home. And I remember Pan Kleks, Mr. Inkblot, as you call him, with his beard and glasses and messed up hair and colorful dress and so on and so forth. I must have read the book probably 50 times. So I looked at this pictures. So I remember that very, very well. I don't think, at least I don't remember any other similar stories with similar illustrations, which we had at the time. So now Szancer himself, we didn't see him. We didn't know where he is or who he is, where he was and how he looks. We just saw his work. So, I remember there used to be this, what was called book fair, right? And always in May, you would go. This was originally in Aleje Ujazdowskie in Warsaw, and I think then moved to the Pałac Kultury. And various authors signed their books. I don't remember Szancer. I don't know if he was ever there, but I certainly remember Akademia Pana Kleksa, and that's a good memory.
Yeah. So let's move on to the last question. Szancer often emphasized his interest and fascination in Polish folklore, tales, and legends, and an important part of his work is closely tied to Polish literature. So, do you think that Szancer's art could be at all interesting and inspiring for the public from abroad?
Well, I happen to have a 4-year granddaughter, 4-year-old granddaughter. She constantly reads whatever reading means, books, right? She's too young for that, but I'd be very, very keen to show it to her when she's 7, 8. I think that'll be great. I haven't seen anything like it in America. I'm not an expert on this market, but I would think absolutely. I think I don't know if Akademia Pana Kleksa can be translated and whether it will work as a text. Don't know, because it's a fantasy, and these days, kids have fantasies about, I don't know, travels to the moon or things of that sort. But yes, I definitely think that just this kind of graphics I haven't seen, and I think it will be great to show. Like I say, the dynamics, the colors, I'm not sure how Polish is. I think Szancer is good anywhere.
Yeah.
But may very well be. I don't know. Probably Polish folklore well enough, but I think he'll work. Absolutely, I definitely think he will work out, and I hope that our exhibit, when and if it opens. I mean, not if, but we know it will open. I am sure kids from all over the world will have fun there.
Yeah, and maybe it's worth pointing out that this exhibition is real atypical, like Szancer's style was, because this is a fully size fairy tale universe created out of Szancer's illustrations. And Szancer himself teaches at this exhibition area how to use an imagination. So children stretch their imagination with small Jasiek, adolescents Janek, and adult Jan, who actually who've never grew out from his imagination. So kids do a number of creative exercises, also listening to the fairy tale written on the basis of Szancer's biography. Yeah, so this exhibition is really, really atypical.
Nothing better than, you know, creating or expanding imagination of children. Obviously, you know, they watch Disney but this is different, right?
Yeah,
this is
because everything
Disney lives their own life, and Disney Disney characters, which, you know, there are always new characters every few years, live their own life. But I think Szancer's characters will while different, will have their spot there too.
And this exhibition is really different because all what I am talking about works in a very analog way. We don't have tablets, we don't have screens, so yeah, this is a kind of—
That's great, because as you know, there is an effort to keep children away from screens.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe there's a point of giving a child you know, an iPad or an iPhone at the age of 2 or 3. I think there's plenty of time to do that, and they'll live with these screens for the rest of their lives. So why start so early?